So, the atom. About 2,000 years ago there was a Greek guy called Democritus who coined the word atom. It just means uncuttable. Then, several hundred years later, an Englishman called Dalton came up with an idea about atoms. He said they were indestructible, indivisible and identical to each other. A few more years pass and a guy called Thomson comes up with a plum pudding model. His plum pudding model said the atom was a positive ball with negative plums or currents on the inside of it. Pretty quickly after he came up with his idea, his student in fact, Rutherford, did an experiment which was very famous. It was called the Rutherford Scatting experiment, and his experiment disproved the plum pudding theory of a positive sphere with negative currents. Rutherford's scattering experiment was all about a gold leaf, and what he did was to fire positively charged alpha particles at a very thin piece of gold leaf. Most of them went straight through, a few of them got deflected, and one or two bounced straight back. So what did Rutherford's experiment prove? He proved that the atom was mostly empty space, because most went through. But most of the mass of the atom was in the middle, because some of them bounced straight back or passed straight through on a deflected line. And he also proved that the middle must have a positive charge. He also discovered the proton, and that it was contained in the nucleus. Just after Mr. Rutherford came a Swedish guy called Niels Bohr. And what did Niels Bohr contribute? He said the electrons that orbit the atom do so in shells. And finally, another Englishman, Chadwick, said that in the nucleus there must be neutrons because the mass of the atom didn't add up, and that was his contribution, neutrons. So, Dalton, indivisible, indestructible, identical. Thomson's plum pudding was a positive ball but negative currents. Rutherford's scattering proved that most of the atom was empty space, the mass was in the middle, and the nucleus had a positive charge. That positive charge was due to protons. Niels Bohr said the electrons orbit the atom. The electrons have got a negative charge and they do it in shells. Chadwick contributed neutrons towards the mass. Brief history of the atom. Thank you.